Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all between. Jason, my brother, how you doing, man?
Very well, man. How you doing?
Right on, right on. So yeah, we're gonna get right into it. We have a special guest, so horns up. This is pretty cool. Fred's been working on this for a little bit here.
Yep.
And I'm pretty excited. So let's bring on Fred, and he can introduce his get. Fred, my brother, how you doing, man?
Hello, my rock and roll brethrens. How are we tonight?
Right
All
on,
right.
right on. And
Glad
also,
to be inside.
yeah, also right up front, I want to send positive thoughts to your mother. I know you guys are going through a hard time right now.
Yep.
So
Thank
cheers
you
to
very much. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Yep, she's in hospice right now, but she's still hanging in there. So
Good.
Yeah. Well, I was glad I got to kiss her on her 100th birthday, so that was cool.
Yes, you did. I'm glad you were there. I'm glad you were there.
I hung around to flirt, you know.
But she did ask me your status. She said, "What's his status?" Don't go there, Mom. You don't want to make him my dad.
Right. So yeah, so last weekend you went to see Queensryche, and they had a very special guest opening up for him.
Right. Queensryche at the Arcada Theater in St. Charles, Illinois, which is an amazing venue that's keeping heavy metal alive. And opening for Queensryche was Janet Gardner and Justin James, who go by Janet Gardner and Justin James. And Janet, of course, is the former lead singer from Vixen. And they came out and they just totally blew the place away. Nice. They were amazing on stage. And the band is, once we get them on here, I'll give them their due props. They were amazing.
And I actually want to ask a question about, because we've had the smoke problem with Canada coming down. So I'm actually interested vocally if it affected her singing voice at all. But apparently today, this is the air quality in Chicago is malort. But all right, so let's bring on Janet and Justin, and we got some interesting questions for them. What's happening, guys?
Hello. Hi.
Greetings. Right? Yeah. So how? Malort. Right. So did it affect your singing voice at all? Did you notice anything?
I don't think so. I mean, it may have a little bit, but I have my Danny Vaughn recommended throat lozenges, and that seemed to help me get through it. So yeah, I didn't really notice too much of a difference, but I definitely notice, like, going out to even just take the dog out for a walk.
Right.
It's thick. It's
for sure.
Definitely hard to breathe. So
I think it definitely
stinks.
It got worse a few days after we played that show. I think Saturday it was bad, but wasn't that bad. I think it was Wednesday that you just walked outside and it was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I was going down 294 and I couldn't even see the Sears Tower. Or
weird.
The Willis Tower.
Right.
It's the Sears Tower. It's always going to be the Sears
Absolutely.
Tower. That was interesting. Because life goes on, and you fall out of like listening to certain kind of music, and then you go, and then we're rediscovering music again. This has been like a journey for us. My brother was a veteran, committed suicide, so through music and comedy, we're like trying to heal people, and music being the great healer. And I just want to know something. How was it? Like, Janet, when you first broke out on the scene, you went from local band to everywhere.
Right.
And you grew up in Alaska.
Well, no, I was born there. I grew up in Montana.
Okay, in Bozeman, but you were born in, so you're a country girl.
Pretty much, yeah.
And so how was the, like, how did you react to that?
Well, it was, I had spent some time in LA, and it was definitely a culture shock.
Right.
To move there and, be absolutely inundated with bands and, traffic and you name it, all kinds of things that I wasn't used to. So it was an adjustment, but it was exciting. And, I was young. So, when you're young, you're really resilient. It's like, I didn't care if I slept in my car. Or,
right.
You know, it just didn't.
Okay, that's an interesting angle, because when people see you on MTV, like she's not sleeping in her car, man. She's got like this huge 25-room mansion, 17 Ferraris, living next door to Nikki Sixx, and you know, across the street's Alice Cooper, and
Never happened.
It's totally not that.
Never happened.
Yeah.
No, I mean, even when we were at the peak of our popularity, we were still not making a ton of money. We were still
and most people don't know that. I mean,
you know, the record company spends a lot of money and then they take it all back before you get a penny.
Right.
So it was not, there were no mansions, no fancy cars. I mean, we did all right. And, you know, we're still doing fine.
Yeah.
It's not what people think.
Yeah. Jason and I were behind the scenes guys. So Jason was a sound engineer. I was a special effects guy. So I'm working on all these, you know, music videos and stuff. And music videos always sucked for everybody involved, because usually the artist has 23 hours in between this plane and this plane to go to that leg of the tour. They're tired, and now they got to sit on a sound stage, and the crew's working a 24-hour day, and it was always miserable.
That nails it. Yeah. Never my favorite thing to do. People are like, oh, wow, you know, videos and
And so how is it now where you guys literally, you know, musicians are now in control of their own destiny? How do you guys, you know, I mean, that's got to feel a lot better than being, because when people would come, we do a video, I'm like, there's no way this band is going to pay for this $3 million. Like, they're screwed.
Right.
There's no way that they're, you know what I mean?
Well, these days, obviously, you can do it a lot cheaper.
Right.
But back in the day, you can make a really good looking video for a few $1,000s now.
Right. And that's been impressive to see how everyone's adjusted to that as well. They've figured that part out.
Right, right. And because, you know, there are no budgets like that anymore. So it has to be due. And, you know, they make great cameras that take amazing 4K footage, and the camera's about this big.
Yeah.
You know, it's not some big thing anymore. It's
right.
I mean, hell, even like, so especially during like COVID, when everything was locked down, we put out an album right at that time, and we filmed 3 music videos on our phones.
Right.
Yeah.
To make it work. You know, I mean, they're not the greatest, but they work. They serve their purpose for the time, and
throw a filter on there, do some fast edits. It's all good.
Right.
Exactly. Just have fun with it. And
right. As long as the music's good, no one cares.
Yeah.
And so this is back in the day, and I just want to say I too miss Aquanet in the purple can. I did have hair down to my ass for about 25 years, and then I like Mick Fleetwood. So
yeah,
I'm waiting to see that picture. Waiting to see that picture.
I used the super heavy duty hold, though. It was the white can.
Oh, you went ultra.
Wait, they renamed that. I think it's called Gorilla Glue now.
Right? That was the best.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
So Janet, back in the heyday then of Vixen with all the videos, how much input did you have, as the band have in the videos? Or did you just, they told you what to do and you just did it? Or did you say, we don't like that?
Not a lot. We didn't care. I never cared. I still don't care.
Just to get it out there. Just to get it out.
Even though I've edited the last video we did, because, you know, I'm picky and I want everything to be perfectly in sync, and you know, he is too.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of it ourselves now, but that's not out of love. The love is the music. Yeah. The video is something you have to do to promote your music. Right. So yeah, it's not really our thing, but you know, we make the best of it. We had a great time that day.
It was awesome.
The band, and
was that the 85 video?
Yeah, 85, and I'm living. Yeah. We shot both of those the same day at a really cool venue, ironically called the Vixen.
Right. Yeah, I saw that in McHenry.
Yeah, it was really cool. We had a great time, and yeah, we just tried to make the best of it and knock out 2 videos in one shoot and just make them look slightly different. And yeah, it was fun. I mean, it's grueling, but it's fun. It's fun work, especially when you see the finished product.
And it feels odd. I mean, I sing because, you know, I don't like the feeling of just mouthing the words. So my voice was shot by the end of the day. I was singing the whole day.
Right.
Yeah.
It does feel kind of silly when you're,
It is, yeah, and you're doing the
doing
same
over
and over and over again, and you're not really playing, and it just like
it's just awkward and weird. But we do it, and we're trying to enjoy it, and we're doing one like right after we stop here.
Yes.
Oh.
So
tonight you need some extras?
over.
What I loved about the 85 video is it showed your band in their purest. That's what I loved about your performance last week was your band is amazing on stage. The charisma, your drummer, I love that guy. He was always smiling.
Oh yeah.
And your chemistry between you two on stage is amazing, and the energy and as rock and roll wannabe, and there you go. As a rock and roll wannabe, that's one of the first things I always say about a band. Man, when they're up there having fun, and you guys were having a great time up there, and it sounded fantastic.
Thank you so much, Fred. It was so much fun. This was the first show that we did actually with the full band in almost a year.
Oh wow.
Couple months, Janet and I have been just doing acoustic shows. We did the Monsters of Rock cruise and something down in South Carolina. So it was great to get those guys back out here. I mean, there's nothing better than a full-blown electric show. And the four of us just, that's the fun part. We get along so good and have so much fun up there. And like you said, it's infectious. I think if the band is having fun on stage, then hopefully the people in the crowd will have fun rather than, like the grunge scene where everybody looked angry and depressed, like they were trying to be there.
Yeah, that never made sense to me.
No, yeah, we want to be there, enjoying ourselves and having fun. And yeah, last Saturday was a blast. I mean, we're still riding off of that.
So I live in South Carolina. Where did you guys play down here? I didn't know where.
Was it called the Spinning Jenny or?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the Spinning Jenny. It was an acoustic show. It was us, the guys from the band Trickster.
Okay.
And Milo from Steelheart.
Greer, South Carolina. You were like 20 minutes from me. I didn't even know it.
Oh, this was a great night. It was fun. And, the Trickster guys were amazing. Milo is unbelievable. His voice is just insanely good still to this day.
I wish I would have known.
And how was it playing the metal cruise?
That was fun. The cool thing about Monsters of Rock is you could basically at 2:00 in the afternoon walk 100 feet out of your room and see a great band playing. I mean, bands are playing around the clock. So, you go out there, you do 2 performances while you're on the cruise.
Yeah.
But after that, you're on vacation, a paid vacation. It's
right.
A lot of fun. It's great.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, we went zip lining over the ocean and we took full advantage of the other stuff. It was great that we were playing.
Right.
It was also a lot of fun to just take advantage of what everybody else gets to.
And the cool thing too is a lot of bands that you don't, especially here in the States, you don't get to see. There's a lot of European bands that come over for this. Right. And that part's really cool. And then you get people like Michael Schenker, you get, just a lot of killer artists. And it's fun. It's one giant family.
I have a bunch of friends that go on there, and this is one of the acts that plays there frequently. And Stryper is one of my favorite bands of all time. I think Michael Sweet, his vocal ability is beyond. Anyway, so he posts this, right?
What the?
He's like getting ready for 60, so he's turning 60 today. So I'm like, please make this your next solo album cover. Hilarious, right?
Absolutely.
Check it out. Look who liked it. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. That's hilarious.
Hilarious.
Nice.
Wow.
So my first professional gig was a roadie for Stryper back in To Hell with the Devil tour.
Really?
Yeah, that was cool.
Very
cool.
Great.
And another thing I wanted to mention, coming with your background, I won't bring up, the past anymore, but it's because you are who you are because of your past. So when Vixen came out, here's something that always annoyed me. I grew up in a house full of women. To me, it wasn't a girl band.
Right.
It was a
Right.
band.
Yeah.
Like, you never heard the complaint about Vixen that their music wasn't good.
No.
Like, that was never, you know what I mean? And in a time when a lot of people were just coming out, you guys stood out for a reason.
Well, thank you for saying that. That it was for the musical reason, not for just the fact that we were, you know, a bunch of women. I mean, they wouldn't say that about Led
Right. They
Zeppelin.
wouldn't, yeah, 5 guys in their band. They don't call it a guy band. It's a band.
It's just a band. Or Aerosmith, again, Beatles, whatever, just a band. And you know, the fact that, and the reason that, you know, we were all female, it wasn't as much, people think it was for the novelty or whatever, but it's not. It's because we can relate to each other and we're comfortable. You know, it was the first time I'd ever been that comfortable in a band. I wasn't the chick in the band. I was just in the band.
Right.
And let's face it, you got to get along on the road. I mean, you have to like live in close quarters. I mean, that's, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, we definitely looked out for each other, and you know, there was a sisterhood that was really great. And that's why we loved being in an all-female band. It really, people thought that it, you know, was some sort of put together thing for the novelty of it and things like that.
Right. Yeah. Because the rumor was, oh, Richard Marx put him together because Illinois guy. So you'd hear these things locally. And it's like, no, he didn't.
Right. And
he wrote a song for them.
We busted our asses for years on the road. I mean, in station wagons and vans and breaking down in the middle of Alabama and everybody staying in one room and sharing towels. And, you know, I mean, we did all that just like the guy bands. And so it was, you know, it really made us angry when we would hear people say, oh, well, you know, it's probably like the Runaways, like a Kim Fowley put it together thing or something. And that was what we were.
Right. So, and boy, did Joan Jett prove everybody wrong.
Oh, yeah. She's
the queen of rock. You know, I've seen her 14 times.
Wow. Yeah, she's so authentic. Real deal there.
Her Cheap Trick I've seen 14 times. And then Coco Taylor I've seen 16 times. But
wow.
Holy cow.
Nice. Dedicated.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that, since you brought up the female band concept, and I know you told me today at breakfast you don't like that term, but one of my questions to Janet was, being in, you know, first of all, nobody knows that the band was originally called Diaper Rash, right?
No, that's stupid.
Wasn't that from that movie?
Yeah.
What a silly name. I saw that and I said, whoever.
You can tell it was some guy who named it who like listened to Duran Duran all day. You know, didn't get it.
But I guess the question I got for you, Janet, is back in the day, there weren't a ton of female bands, all female bands. You have the Runaways, the Bangles, the Go-Go's, kind of to name a few. But did you ever come across any roadblocks because you were an all-female band?
Oh, tons of them. People that wouldn't take us seriously. Nobody wanted to sign us. You know, we'd talk to some managers that would be like, oh, well, maybe if you guys did like country or something, maybe we could sell that. But an all-female rock band, you know, no, they're not. People aren't going to go for that, respond to that. So huge roadblocks. Yeah, we just kept pushing them.
Did you hear a lot of, okay, honey, we'll get to you. Sure, honey, no problem, right? A lot of that?
Yeah, a little bit of condescending attitudes. Sure, of course.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah, or people.
And now the women rule the metal scene.
Hell yeah, they do. Oh, yeah. It's awesome.
So we started doing tunage. We do reaction videos now. It was like, oh, I haven't heard of this band. Well, even though they've been out for 20 years, I never heard of it because I had kids. I was doing other things, whatever. And every video that's led by just happens to the front person's female are the most popular videos. I mean, they're kicking ass. You know, there's some great talent out there, and people are finally relaxing about it. You know, like
about time.
Yeah, like why? You know, in the jazz era, they didn't do that.
Right.
In blues, they didn't do that.
It's one of those things that, you know, people associated it with, you know, testosterone.
I mean, if you treated Barbara Streisand like that, you get slapped, put in a trunk, and disappeared, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
or Aretha Franklin or Etta James or, you know.
Yeah, I mean, those are the people that paved the way. Those were uncompromising women that said, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to wear that. I'm not going to,
right.
all of those things. That's what it took. And, there's a huge history of it. Like you named two of my favorites. How did he do that?
Two of my favorites.
Yeah. Etta James, Aretha Franklin, Janis Joplin.
Yeah.
It was those type of women
that
made it possible for what's exploding today.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Justin, you I read, and whether it's true, you went to Musicians Institute, is that correct?
No, I don't. Yeah, that's not true.
Okay. Well,
now here's something that's funny. Like initially when we found out, it's like, okay, it's Janet and Justin. I'm like, wait a minute. Justin James. I'm like, Jason. Remember there was a guy named Justin James who was 2 doors down from Jason in the dorms.
Really?
Yeah. Where we went to school to become sound engineers and television engineers. I'm like,
he was a guitar player too.
So like, we haven't seen him in 30. No, I don't think that's him. That'd be funny if it was. Could you imagine?
That is funny. There's
a Canadian guy.
Well, yeah, recently there's a Canadian Justin James guitar player that a lot of people say even like Spotify and things will link us together.
Well, okay.
That's when you Google that. That's what comes up. Yeah.
Two opposite people.
Okay.
Yeah, you are a hard guy to find information on. Yeah. I did find you had definitely worked with Collective Soul, Stained, and this band that I have in my music collection.
That is great. Yes. Okay. So here, I'll set the record straight on that whole thing because actually our record label put out the wrong press release in the beginning. So I didn't technically work with Stained or Collective Soul. I've worked with members from Stained and Collective Soul.
Gotcha.
Like Keto, I have played with, and we did some Monsters of Rock together, and I love those guys.
Yeah.
So which one are you?
I'm the one you can't. I'm blacked out in the back there. No, I played with them about 20 years after that came out. But
yeah, I kind of figured.
Welcome to Hollywood.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I mean, you guys, so how is it now? It's interesting because I'm coming back to it now. I'm hanging out at shows and hanging out with artists again and all this stuff and da. And the first time around, I'm impressed that like the younger talent isn't into not everyone's hammered, and like in the 80s and 90s it was just you'd show up and you'd be like so it's really interesting to see that these new artists are laser focused.
Straight
a lot of
edge.
them.
Yeah,
and that's really cool to see. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
They'll be around for a long time then.
Right.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That makes the difference between a really short, fast career or some longevity and being able to do it when you're old like me.
Well, and that to me is the funny thing. I mean, whenever you have a couple drinks in you before a gig or when you're on stage, you think you're playing the best you ever played until you watch the playback of the video and realize, no, it wasn't that good.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
have it along with your headphones and you look across the room and they're just like,
exactly.
Take it from a fan. Take it from a fan. We don't notice the mistakes. Believe me.
Yeah,
we saw Winger last year at the Arcada, and he got done singing his song, and then he looked really embarrassed. He went up to the microphone and he said, "I'm really sorry. This I fucked up like 1,000,000 times on that song." And the whole crowd's going, "I didn't notice anything."
What?
Yeah.
Right.
You make a mistake, we think we're singing the wrong tune to you. So
no,
it's a beautiful thing about live, right?
Right.
Well, see, it used to be like that, but now with YouTube, everything shows up.
Right.
Every mistake, and people point it out. Wrong lyrics. I used to be able to get away with that stuff.
Right.
More people say, "No, she's saying the second verse twice," or whatever.
Everybody's a critic, right?
Right.
There's way too many trolls out there.
Oh my God.
It's taken a lot. It's taken a lot of the spontaneous fun out of it.
Yeah, I was just watching a documentary on the U.S. What was it called? The U.S. Us Festival.
Oh, the Us Festival.
Oh yeah.
And like there's it's a David Lee Roth documentary, whatever, of course, and he mentioned I forgot the in words, man, and like everyone loved it back in the day.
Yeah.
Like now everyone's so used to drum machine, tick 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 tick. Like I'd rather have a drummer in the slop, or just record, you know, not analog, just so it breathes, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you need the human element.
Right.
Right.
That's disappearing at an alarming rate these days.
Right.
You know? And guitar and vocals are two of the last frontiers, and even that's getting, you know, tuned to death and
quantized and Pro Tools and
it's
Speaking of recording, where did you guys do the record?
We've got a studio in our house.
We're sitting in it right now.
Yes, we are. You're seeing one angle. Actually, all our gear and guitars are lined up over on the wall over here.
Cool.
So, well, that's what's cool. It's we do everything ourselves. We write, perform. We play every instrument on all the albums we've ever done, and then we mix and master it. And it's cool because we get to, you know, the vision from start to finish, which is, it's a double-edged sword. In some ways, it's great because we get to follow through with what we visioned from the start. The bad is sometimes you can overthink that. And, you know, on our new album, there's some songs that had 50 different mixes of it because we kept, that's not right. We got to go back and do it again.
Right.
You know, whereas if you're with an outside engineer, they'll tell you, you got an hour left and we're done. Yeah. So
we got to wrap this up, and we don't have that.
Right.
Yeah, like me and Fred were talking about this at breakfast today. We're like, he brought up, you know, when you self-record, I've got a lot of musician friends, and it's some people need a producer.
Mm-hmm.
Some people need it because they don't know when to stop.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And like I have this buddy of mine, he's in like 5 different projects, 3 different recording projects at all. I'm like, dude, if you did 20% less, you'd be 100% better.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's very hard to be to know when to stop, because
and some people can.
Right.
Like they're objective enough to like, okay.
Well, it's rare though. I mean, you're always your own worst critic typically. I mean, usually.
Exactly.
Right? I mean,
for sure.
And
yeah, like I've written books and you know, when I'm, you know, editing it, I'm like, there's a time to put the pen down.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Whatever.
Totally same thing. Exact same thing. It's
because I'm also got a couple books that are hopefully going to be published here in the next few weeks. And the same thing, I'm constantly on the computer tweaking it. And my best producer is my wife. She walks over and finally hits send. Go, send it out. You're going to tweak this forever. You're going to tweak it forever. So at some point, get out. Right. So we don't get too ahead of ourselves, though. We do want to mention when Jason had brought up about studio in your home. You do have a new album out. You did 2 solo albums out, Janet, when you left Vixen. One was simply entitled Janet Garner, and the other one was Your Place in the Sun. Now you've got 2 out under the moniker of Gardner James, Synergy in 2020, and your newly released album, No Strings, which was released June 9th through Pavement Music, and it's also available on all the major streaming services. Is that right?
Yeah, and Frontiers for the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's a really cool album cover.
It's great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So Frontiers is doing international distribution for you guys?
They are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is our first time working with them, and we're really excited about it. I mean, they definitely have a big hold on the whole scene that we're a part of. So
yeah, we do a lot of reaction videos from Frontiers artists and Rat Pack artists, and you know, it's nice to see the metal community, as you know, there was always the coolest community to hang with.
Of course.
But it's great to see them now that, you know, some people are, you know, a lot of people are parents and some are even grandparents and stuff. So like the multi-generational thing. And, you know, when we were coming up, everyone disparaged the long-haired, you know, metalhead crowd. But from my experience, they're the most intelligent. Most of them read. They were very versed in mythology and history and everything else. But, you know, the music took the fans seriously, and that I think that's why that, you know, it's a familial thing still to this day. I mean, we still have reunions to all the metalheads that we used to hang out with 40 years ago. We still get together.
Cool.
Yeah, and my son, you know, he's 20, and he's got great friends that are all, you know, they're metalheads, and they're exactly like what you said. They're very smart and, you know, well-read in different lot of different fantasy genres and stuff.
Right.
And it's just a part of their culture, is really, really loyal. And I love that. You know, they hang together and they protect each other, and it's awesome.
And it's funny because a lot of the people back in the day when the whole metalhead community was like kids escaping from the religious hold of their parents.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, get away. But, you know, like you said earlier about people giving you a hard time, you were labeled as this kind of band. Our buddy here, Michael, and his guys are labeled as a Christian. I wish they would stop that. You know, like that, they're one of the best bands ever. I'm an atheist and they're one of my favorite bands. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? You know, oh, this guy buys iceberg lettuce band. You know,
Right. It doesn't.
It's all about labels. People need to drop the labels like this.
Yeah, or blue eyes. You're out. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you do?
Yep.
You fight it. You just you continue on.
Yeah.
And so, how are you finding it now after COVID? Because a lot of touring is problematic due to just truck supplies, this, that, and the other. Are you seeing the effect of it with, you know, with what you got going on?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, we mostly do fly dates, and it was great on Saturday having a show local for the two of us, at least. Our other guys had to fly in, but it's harder. I mean, because everything's more expensive, and it's, you know, you're not necessarily getting paid more to go do shows. So
right.
Unfortunately, as much as you want to go do every show, you can't now. You've got to turn down some things if it doesn't make sense financially, because you can't lose money either to go out.
Right. Yeah. Why would you want to? Yeah.
Right. So it's tough. I mean, we had a great run right before the whole lockdown. We were in Australia for a couple weeks on a tour, and that was fantastic. We made it back to the States by like 3 days before everything shut down. And we lived off that for a while, but we miss it. We miss being able to, you know, do as much as we did previously. And you kind of got a little complacent during the whole lockdown thing too, where it was just, you got a little lazy. It didn't, you know, I mean, we were busy. We were recording and writing and keeping ourselves, but we got more comfortable at home, and that urge to get out there and play. But, you know, it's something we always want to do. It's in our blood, and we'll always keep doing it, but it's definitely harder now than it used to be.
Right. Yeah.
So what advice do you have for up and coming musicians now? Because trying to find a venue that allow you to play original music if you're an up and coming band is almost next to impossible.
Right.
So how do they figure that out?
Yeah, it's tough.
Well, I mean, there's that, but there is the internet. So, you know, you have to utilize it, I guess. I mean, I'm not an expert, but, you know, I think that even if you film yourself and your band playing, you know, put it on YouTube. People get a lot of attention that way.
Yeah. So YouTube is now them playing the bars because they can't play 3 sets of 40 or, you know.
Right. And as sad as that is, you know, you have to utilize what you can. And, you know, have a party for your friends and film it and put it on YouTube. Yeah. You know, I mean,
it's so bizarre. I mean, like, my daughter is like teaching us how to do like TikTok, and like, we have no idea what the hell we're doing.
Right.
I just hand this to my son. Can you set this up? Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. My IT guy is not available. He's
Dad, you know, you can increase the text. I'm like, oh, whoa, what?
How did you do that?
Exactly.
And they don't even bother to show you how they do it because you won't stick. They just do it. So don't worry about it. It's done.
Yeah.
They know we won't remember it.
They roll their eyes and they go, "Oh my God, there's so many shortcuts you're missing." Everything the way, apparently.
Yeah, I had run into this local artist, you know, and we're talking about. I'm like, well, you know, it's all about paying your dues and doing what you can. Like, even if you're not that band, if someone's going to pay you to sing Sinatra or whatever, and you have the voice for it, you're going to get stage time. You're going to get experience. It may not be your crowd, but you're still getting that school in.
Absolutely.
You know, and they're like, nah, I put in my dues. I said, oh, really? You know, I'm like, what did you do? You know, what are you doing? And it's like, I tried out for American Idol.
That's their dues.
Wow.
What? I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
You know, like
It's
if you got a
different.
band, you're doing a practice, live stream it. Get your 10,000 hours in, put it on the
Yeah.
yeah, for
why
sure.
not? But alrighty. Fred, you got any more questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the album, No Strings. It's due out on, or it's out already. I will review it for you guys on Metal Temple, which is a metal site, but I think this album really deserves a lot of attention. It's a great song, a great album.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll agree with me or not on this, guys, but I thought there's a incredibly nice, diverse mix of hard rocking songs, some 80s hair metal, maybe a little bit of blues, and dare I say, flirting with country on this. There's a nice, diverse of music. And
Yes, there is. I
forget the country out of there. Okay.
Touching
But
into those kind of
the
chords.
three songs I loved were "Turn the Page," "Set Me Free," and "Into the Night."
I love that.
I want to ask you one quick question, Janet, and then you guys are ready, we can call.
Okay.
Just because when I listened to the song "Wounded" off the Synergy album, it's a very emotional and intense song, and it kind of, one of those songs hits you. And I know it's about a toxic relationship, and the lyrics are, "You're a hurricane of despair, and I need shelter. I'm beyond repair." And I'm not going to ask any details of the song or who it's about or anything. I guess my question is, how hard is it to put such a powerful song down on paper? And if it was about a personal experience, did you find it therapeutic?
It's totally therapeutic. I mean, you're saying how hard is it? It's like, those are the easiest songs to write, truth be told.
Mm-hmm.
Ones that are like, just, you've been there, you've lived it, and it just pours out of you.
Yeah, the audience knows when you're lying. They value the truth.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, so as far as that goes, a lot of the really painful things, there was a song called Candle on our second album.
No, our first album.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, Candle was on the first album.
Yeah. And, that was about, I was with my dad when he took his last breath.
Yeah.
And that song, again, just poured out of me because it was so emotional and so painful that I wanted it to come out. I wanted to have that therapy and that closure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of those really emotional songs are the easiest to write because.
I know what you're saying. My mother is on her last days. She's 100 years old, but she's
oh my gosh
on her last days, and I'm actually in the middle of writing a poem called "She's Earned Her Wings," and it's about let her go home because she's earned her wings, and that helps me get through this too. So I understand.
Yeah.
I will send you the song "Candle" off our first album, and I'm sure you will go, oh, yeah.
Awesome. I'll look for it. Anything else, guys, or we'll talk about your upcoming tours.
So you can get all the information here at janetgardermusic.com, and you have some tour dates up there, and also
you guys, well, I know you got a Facebook page, so check them out on Facebook. I've got August 25th at Island Lake, Illinois. You're going to be appearing with rock legend Sebastian Bach, and looks like Rudy Sarzo with Quiet Riot.
Yep.
October 7th, you'll be at New England Rock Festival in Norwalk, Connecticut with Rudy Firehouse. Yeah. And I saw September 8th at the Bauer House in Lombard. Is that a deal?
Yes, that's happening, and there's another club in Indiana that we're going to do. Those are going to be two smaller club shows for us. That what we're excited about with those is we're going to be doing longer sets than we normally play, so it gives us an opportunity to try out some more songs that we haven't gotten to play yet live. So they're going to be fun special shows that we're going to get to pull out some rarities that we don't normally get to do.
Nice.
Right on. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. You've been nothing but gracious. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your music.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for everything.
Anytime you guys got a project coming out, we'd love to have you back on.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right.
All right, horns
Take
up,
care.
guys. Good luck.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
That was awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
Very
Nice people.
Very nice.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I've been playing this song, and we're gonna do a tunage of it because I have to show Jason because I don't think he might have caught this one. But I've been addicted to Rat Hole. I played it like 5 times in a row.
Oh, that's hers. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Was it on the new record? I was jamming the record.
It's from 5 years ago. I saw it next to the thing. Yeah, I think that was awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. Yeah, they were great.
Yeah. And I told V at
Justin
breakfast this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a young dude, man.
Yeah.
He
So,
shreds,
yeah, we're
really shreds.
Thank everyone for watching. We appreciate it. Jason, my brother, love you. Fred, my brother. See you next time, and we're CreatiVity Talking.